If owning a home is something that you want to accomplish, in this episode, I'm going to be talking about 3 simple steps that you can implement right now to ensure that you accomplish your dream or your goal of becoming a homeowner. So in last week, we spoke about what's going on in the housing market, all of the things with the investors that are coming in, buying up the real estate, the effect that it's going to be having on you, because whether you believe it or not, it is going to have an effect on you. And so I ended the episode pretty much telling you that you need to take action and become a homeowner. Well, in this episode, I'm going to tell you about the 3 steps that you can take today, start taking today, to ensure that you become a homeowner. But if you didn't listen to last week's episode, go listen to last week's episode so that you can get all of the details about what is going on, about what is going on, because there is a massive shift that's happening with ownership in this country in terms of the real estate that's owned in this country. And you really want to know the effect that it's going to be having on you as well, the effect that it may be having on your neighborhood even now, because you might be living in one of these areas where this shift is taking place. So in any case, go check out last week's episode, but stay tuned for this one as well, because you are going to learn how you can pretty much set yourself up for success despite what's going on in the environment as well. So let's get on into it. The first step is credit. That is the foundation for everything when it comes to home ownership. Unless you have cash, unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cash to where you can just go and buy what you want to buy and pay cash for it, you're going to need financing. And if you're going to need financing, you're going to have credit that is good enough for a mortgage lender to say, you know what, I'll take a chance on you. I will look to give you money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to be able to purchase a home, and believe that you're actually going to make on-time monthly mortgage payments on that money that I'm loaning you as well. So first thing that you need to work on is your credit. Now, if your credit is already good, great. You can, continue to listen to the rest of this because it is going to be some beneficial information for you. But if your credit is not good, listen up. There's a few simple things that you can do to work on your credit to make sure that you get it better. I won't actually break down all of the things with credit right now, because I've got other videos that actually explain credit in much more depth. And so I recommend searching out some of those videos that are on this channel as well, so that you can really get that information. But a couple simple things that I'll say when it comes to credit: paying all of your bills on time, even the bills that don't show up on your credit report, like your cell phone bill, your utilities bill, your internet bill. These are things that don't normally show up on your credit report, but if you stop paying them and you become delinquent, they can show up on your credit report as a collection, and that's not something that you want. So the biggest part of your FICO credit score is payment history. It accounts for 35% of your FICO credit score. One missed payment can literally drop your score 60, 70 points or more. And sometimes less. It depends upon where your score is. But in any case, you can have huge drops in your credit score just by having one late payment, one missed payment. That's all it takes to literally do a lot of damage to your credit score. So you want to be intentional about making sure that you pay everything on time. See, one of the things that you need to understand when it comes to owning a home and the things that you need to do, it's not a mystery. It's nothing that's really difficult that you need to understand when it comes to owning a home. It's kind of like working out. It's not difficult. The concept of working out to get your body in shape, to become healthier, it's not a mystery. There's no secret that, people are just now discovering. The problem is discipline. The problem is people getting up and being consistent and working out 3, 4, 5 times a week, and over a period of several months, seeing that change in their body to where now their bodies start to become healthier. Their muscles are starting to become stronger. Their blood is flowing better through their body. They make better decisions when it comes to what they consume and what they put in their bodies, because that's what your body's going to use as fuel to propel you throughout each day and each week. So the problem is not that it's a mystery or it's very complex to understand how to get in shape. You need to eat right. You need to exercise. Those 2 things alone will take you leaps and bounds over, your journey of getting better in shape with your body and everything. Well, the same thing is true for home ownership. It's not a mystery how to become a homeowner. It's not this big complex puzzle that you need to figure out. There are 3 things that you need to do. And by being disciplined enough to do them, you will become a homeowner. There's no maybe, if, what. you can become a homeowner if you just focus on being disciplined in these three areas. So that first thing that we're talking about right now, credit. And in credit, you need to pay all of your bills on time. I know things happen, but as much as it depends on you, pay everything on time, everything. And that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to help your credit score, because late payments turn into missed payments. Missed payments turn into collections. Collections turn into charge-offs. And all of these things damage your credit score with each next level that you achieve. So you have a late payment, that's bad, but then you have a missed payment. And then when it becomes a collection, that's another hit on your credit score. When it becomes a charge-off, that's another hit on your credit score. Pay everything on time, and that in and of itself is going to do leaps and bounds for you when it comes to your credit. The second thing I'll say, and I'm not going to spend as much time on, is just keep those credit card balances low. I know a lot of goods, services, foods, everything is becoming more expensive right now, but as much as you can, try and be disciplined in your spending. Look at where you can make cuts rather than just charging up the credit card. Look at areas in your life where you can say, you know what, I can take this area right here and I can maybe cut back on one of the streaming services. I've got like 4 streaming services. Not me personally. I actually don't have any streaming services. But if you are a person who has 4 streaming services, maybe you cut back on 2 of those and say, you know what, that's an extra $30 that I can save. And I can put that $30 toward somewhere else that's going to help me be able to decrease what I'm paying on my credit cards right now. In any case, pay all your bills on time and try to keep those credit card balances low. That in and of itself is going to set your credit up so wonderfully. Now, if you already got damaging marks on your credit score, again, check out one of my other videos that talks more about credit, because I have some information that can teach you about how to actually get rid of those on your credit. And matter of fact, I'm gonna put a link down in the description below. So check the link. I actually have a credit repair course. Currently it's free, depending upon when you're watching this. It might not still be free, but I'm actually gonna keep it free for a good amount of time, because I want people to repair their credit. I want people to improve their credit. So I created an entire program to teach you about credit and to teach you about how you can repair your credit, and all the things you can do, because it is something that's within your power to do without having to solicit the services of a credit repair company. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. So I'm gonna put a link in the description below so that you can get the information on what it is that you need to do to repair your own credit. First thing, credit knocked out. Going over to the next thing, income. Income is how much money you make. So simply put, the more money you make, the greater the potential for you to be able to purchase a home that is larger, that is more expensive. All right, so income kind of goes in tandem with the third thing that we're going to talk about, which is debt. So I'm going to kind of tackle both of these at the same time. So the first one, credit, we kind of took care of that by itself. But with the next 2, income and debt, we're going to talk about those in tandem, because you can't really separate one from the other. For example, let's say that you make $10,000 a month. You make $10,000 a month in income, and you pay, let's say out of that, you have $5,000 a month that you pay in debt. I know that would be a high number for a lot of people, but in any case, let's say you make $10,000 a month in income and you pay $5,000 a month in debt. It will be said that you had a 50% debt to income ratio, because 50% of your income goes toward paying debt. If you make $10,000 a month and you pay $4,000 in income, it would be, if you make $10,000 a month in income and you pay $4,000 a month in debt, it would be said that you have a 40% debt to income ratio, because 40% of your income goes to paying out debt. So you're starting to see how this relationship between income and debt happens. So just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean that you can afford a lot of house, because it also depends upon how much debt you have. So if you have $10,000 in income and 70% of that goes toward paying debt, you're not going to be able to qualify for a home, because that's just a really high number or amount of your income that goes toward paying out debt. Now, the debt that we're talking about is the debt that shows up on your credit report, not your cell phone bill, not your utilities bill or your gas bill or your grocery bill. We're not looking at any of those debts. The debts that show up on your credit report, which are typically your car payment, your student loans, your credit cards, and any personal loans that you have. Those are the 4 big ones that typically show up on your credit report: car payment, student loans, credit cards, and personal loans that you may have. Now, there are some other debts that could be counted as well. If you pay child support, that's going to be counted in your debt. If you owe money to the IRS, that's going to be counted in your debt as well. So There are some other debts that don't show up on your credit report, but they will be counted, such as child support, or if you pay alimony, again, IRS, you owe them money, then that's going to be counted in your debt. So you want to know what your debt to income ratio is, and you can easily find this out. Again, it's going to take some discipline on your part because you're going to need to go to annualcreditreport.com. This is the one website authorized by the federal government where you can get at least one free credit report every year. Lately, they've been allowing you to get a lot more than just one a year. But in any case, go to annualcreditreport.com and pull your credit report from all three credit bureaus, because they might have different information on them. Not every credit card company reports to all three bureaus. So if you only pull Experian, but that credit card company reports to TransUnion and Equifax, then you're not going to see the information pertaining to that credit card. So you want to pull all three bureaus and look at all of them. That way you know what's on all of your credit reports. You want to make sure that the information on there is accurate, but you also want to know how much is the minimum required monthly payment for each of my debts, because that's what a mortgage lender is going to be looking at. So you want to see how much is the minimum monthly required payment, and then you want to take that amount, add it all together for all of your debts, and then subtract that from how much you make gross every month, the gross amount of what you make every month. Now, I'm gonna give you an easy button. If you don't want to do all of this work yourself, there is an easy button. Go find a great loan officer, fill out an application, and they can tell you where you are with being able to purchase a home and what it's going to take for you to accomplish being approved for a home if you're not already there. That's the easy button. So you can do this all yourself. You can go and look at your credit report. You can add up your minimum required monthly debts, the minimum payment for all your monthly debts. So let's say that you have a car that you paid $50,000 for, but your payment on that car is $700 a month. Well, that 700 is what we're going to be looking at. So 700 plus, let's say you got $200 a month in credit card bills, that's 900. And then let's say you've got a student loan payment of another 200. So we're at $1,100, and that's it for you. Let's just say that's it for you. So you got $1,100 worth of monthly debt, and you make, let's say $5,000 a month. Well, you're going to take that $1,100 that you make, and then you're going to subtract that from what's usable on that $5,000. Now, what is usable? Usually about 50%. So what I'm just going to say, and this is just a quick cut dry, there's a lot more into it, but I'm giving you a really, really basic understanding of what you need to look at. So take whatever you make in gross income, cut it in half. Why? Because most mortgage lenders, if you have great credit, are only going to be able to approve you up to about 50% of your debt to income ratio. So take what you make in monthly income, cut it in half. So if you make $5,000, cut that in half, $2,500. Now that $1,100 that we just added up in debt that you have on your credit report, subtract that $1,100 from the $2,500. Now we're looking at $1,400. That's how much you have for a monthly mortgage payment. That's how much you can utilize for a monthly mortgage payment. So I just gave you the blueprint of how you can go and calculate up yourself a really rough, quick, and fast calculation that you can make on how much mortgage payment you could afford. So if you need to, please feel free to rewind this so that you can listen to it again. But that's how you're going to do it. You're going to take your gross monthly income, gross before taxes, gross monthly income, cut it in half. Once you cut it in half, you take the half and you subtract from the half any debts, the minimum monthly payments that you make on any debts that you have on your credit card, on your credit report. So credit cards, student loans, car payment, personal loans. And if you make child support payments, subtract that too. If you pay alimony, subtract that also. So make sure you subtract all of those debts from the half of your gross income, and whatever is remaining, that's how much you could potentially qualify for on a mortgage payment. So now if it's $1,400, you're like, okay, well, how much home can I afford for $1,400? Maybe $100,000, maybe $130,000, $125,000. Depends on your interest rate, depends on the taxes, but that's how mortgage lenders are determining whether or not you can qualify and how much you can qualify for. So that's debt to income really working in tandem for you. So how do you increase that amount? Well, increasing your income will give you more money to work with in terms of being able to qualify. So if I don't make $5,000, let's say I make $8,000 a month. Well, now half of 8,000 is 4,000. So instead of me working with the 2,500, which was half of 5,000, now I'm working with $4,000. I've got an extra $1,500 that I can play around with in terms of being able to qualify for a mortgage. That can be a huge impact in terms of helping you to be able to get the home that you really want or something that's going to work better for your family. Now, another way that you can increase that amount is by having less debt. You see how this debt and income work together. You have less debt. That's something that can help you be able to qualify for a home in general or qualify for a more expensive home. So let's say that you make $6,000 a month, or let's stick with the 5,000. Let's say you make $5,000 a month, and instead of paying $1,100 in debt, let's just say the only debt that you have to pay is $500. So you pay $500 a month in debt. All you have is a car payment, or you don't even have a car payment. Maybe you just have some credit card bills or student loans, whatever it is. Your monthly debt obligation is $500 a month. So you make $2,500 is half of that $5,000 that you make. 500 minus the 2,500 gives you $2,000. $2,000 is going to get you a significantly more expensive home than what $1,400 would get you if you had that $1,100 that we spoke about earlier. How much more significant? Well, that $600 difference between $1,400 and $2,000 could get you a home that's maybe about $80,000, $90,000 more, $80,000 to $90,000 more than what you would have been able to purchase if you had more debt. So having less debt can help you qualify as well. You're just looking to increase the difference between how much money you make and how much money you pay in debt. Because if the more of your income goes toward paying debt, the less overall home you're going to be able to qualify for. But if you increase that gap between the income that you make and the debt that you pay, now you're in a place where you can qualify for a home in general, or you can qualify for a more expensive home. You can qualify much easier by just increasing that gap. So pay down debt, pay off debt, increase income, do both of them, do one or the other. Either way is going to help you qualify to be able to purchase that home. And that's it. Those are the three things. Credit, foundation of everything with financing. Make sure you work on your credit and your income and your debt, which are working in tandem to determine how much you can qualify for. And that's it. Literally just those three things. And I already told you two things that you can do with your credit to make sure that you're able to purchase a home. It's just consistently over a period of time, pay everything on time, keep those credit card balances low, and then income and debt. Your income is what your income is. You can find a higher paying job if your current income does not suit you. But if it does suit you, then work on paying down that debt. And after you do your credit, you focus on the income and the debt, you qualify for a home. But again, there's that easy button. You can go to a loan officer, fill out a loan application today. That loan officer can do a soft credit pull to tell you what your credit is, but a great loan officer will also tell you what you can do to fix or repair your credit. And they will also tell you what your debt to income situation is looking like, how much you could potentially qualify for. And if you don't qualify, a great loan officer will also tell you what it is that you can do to be able to qualify for that home as well. So that is it. That's simple. You just need to be disciplined enough to take action, because I gave you the entire layout of how you could do this yourself. And I gave you the easy button of how you can have someone else do it for you. You just have to complete the loan application. So start taking action now, or you're going to end up like one of those individuals that I spoke about in the last week's episode, who are currently living in the situations of what's going on with this shift that's happening in real estate, with investors, companies, corporations, hedge funds owning a lot of these real estates, and the effect that is currently and will continue to be having on communities as well. So that's what I have for you. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. Make sure you tune in on Tuesdays as well. Tuesdays is when I give you the tips and the tricks, the tools that are going to save you tens of thousands of dollars in mortgage payments, or even in upfront costs when it comes to you purchasing a home as well. So you want to make sure you tune in on Tuesdays so that you can get all of that information, because it is hugely impactful. And some of the information that I talk about on Tuesdays is the information that you need to know to help you bridge the gap between where you are right now and the money in the middle that you need to become a homeowner as well. I have a lot of those tips that I put out on Tuesdays as well. So also there, if you look in the playlist section, you'll see a playlist titled Home Finance Hacks. That's where I post the replays. So they don't always come out immediately after I do the live. So if you want all the information immediately, you need to tune in to the live broadcast. However, if you're not able to tune in at 7 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday, you can always check back on that Home Finance Hacks playlist, and you will see the replays from the previous home finance hacks. Again, all the replays don't make it up there, and they don't all make it up there immediately, but I do roll those out periodically as well so that people can access that information. But I want you to be there live, so try to make it a point that you're logging on live. It's not long at all. It's usually about 15 minutes to 20 minutes. So a really short period of your time that's going to give you some information that's going to be hugely impactful in helping you to be able to bridge that gap between where you are right now and you becoming a homeowner as well. So tune in Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, every Tuesday for Home Finance Hacks. That's what I have for you this week on Greatest Asset Community Podcast. Take care, be blessed, and we'll see you in the next episode.